Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. We have surpassed the middle of July. Typically, if we're going to see a summer slowdown, that starts to kick in between the middle of July and the beginning of August. However, we've continued to see extremely low inventory, so we have yet to see if that seasonal change will kick in or if the low inventory will sustain a lot of what we've already been seeing. So let's get into the stats this week. We're looking at Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Marsh Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. This past week, we saw 60 new homes come on the market. That is a big 33% increase over what we saw the prior week. We saw the most notable change in Morristown and Township with 17 homes coming on the market. It's a 240% increase over the prior week in just Morristown and Township. Out of these homes in these towns, we saw 42 of them were single-family homes and 18 of them were condos or townhouses. The average list price of homes this past week was $1,071,000. It's an 8% decrease over last week's average list price. Inventory, total inventory. This is the biggest increase in total inventory we've seen in quite some time. Right now, in these towns, we have 297 homes actively on the market. That is 11% more than this time last week. 11% might not seem like anything astronomical, but for weeks, for months, we've seen fluctuations week to week, in the 1 to 2% range. So 11% increase in inventory, that is fairly noticeable. Let's see if that sticks around. While for some home sellers, that might be a little bit scary to see more inventory come in the market. Overall, from a market health standpoint, I'd like to see that number climb even higher. Yes, it's great for a home seller to be able to put your house on the market and get these bidding wars in a week or two. But overall, we do need to unlock a lot of inventory, and a lot of would-be home sellers do need to find something to buy. So having more inventory will not only give them more options and possibilities to move, but it'll also give them potentially some flexibility in negotiating some terms that not necessarily are going to get them all that much better of a deal, but allow their home sale and purchase to simultaneously happen in a way that is acceptable and not too risky. Total homes sold this past week. This past week, we saw 52 homes sell in these towns. That's a 136% increase over the homes sold last week. Average list price of these homes, $1,301,000. Average sale price of these homes, $1,370,000. So this past week, we saw homes in these towns sell 6.9% above the list price. And once again, when we break it down town by town, every single town that had homes sell had them sell either somewhat or substantially above the list price. So to go through them town by town, the lowest we saw Marsh Plains at 2% above list price. We saw Mendham at 3.2% above list price, Basking Ridge 3.6% above list price, Morristown and Township 4% above list price, Bernardsville 5% above list price, Randolph 6.1% above list price, and then Chester 10% above list price, Chatham 12% above list price, and Madison 15% above list price. So it's going to be interesting to see, in terms of the homes sold, we're still seeing them sell substantially above list price. Do keep in mind that homes sold, while they are the most complete data, they're usually lagging, anywhere from 1 to 3 months in terms of indicating where the market stands. So as we see more inventory come in the market, it's possible. Let's see if those strong numbers above list price sustain with the new inventory coming on the market. And then under contract. Once again, under contract is the opposite. Under contract is the most current data, but the least complete data. So this past week, we saw 19 homes go under contract. That is 21% less than the prior week. The average list price of the homes that went under contract was $1,322,000, and the average days on market was 38 days on market, which is 17% more days on market than we saw last week. So once again, we're going to see if and how these seasonal changes might affect the market. We are past July 4th, and we've got a little bit of time till Labor Day, so not too many holidays, no real holidays to come in and mix things up and kind of throw off the data. So we'll be checking in with you again weekly to see how this short summer season shapes up. And then if you're thinking about fall market, it might seem wild with a heat wave going on right now, but if you're thinking about buying or selling this fall, we should be talking right now. That fall market comes on quickly and it also leaves quickly, so you have to be extra prepared for that. So thanks so much for checking in with me. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll catch you again next week.